Well, it's been a long time since I did a channel update video, so I figured I would put one out just to kind of go over what has been going on with the channel, what I just worked on, or what I recently worked on, what I'm currently working on, and what I'm going to be putting out in the near future, hopefully. So, still doing okay. No COVID. Knock on desk. And just been plugging away, working on reviews. I put out the Amagon review in, I think it was May or June. I think May. And after that, I think I maybe did a summer update video, if I recall. And I told you guys that I was moving. And so I moved in July and moved into my house, my new house. And we worked on the basement for about a month-ish, a month and a half-ish. And at that point, I started working on the next review. And I kind of went back and forth on a few things on what I wanted to do. And XVGM kind of took a break for a little bit. We put out, I think, in August, we put out our Chrono Trigger retrospective, which was pretty cool. It had Drew from Singing Mountain on it for the podcast. And it went really well, but at that point, like, Justin was a little burned out. He had some stuff he had to take care of on his end, and so as you do, you know when you put out a podcast, every other week, you need to kind of slide things back, take a breather, make sure you're taking care of yourself personally before you continue working on stuff and burning yourself out. So we took about a month off. We did one live episode for our patrons, and then we did another one in September, and then we put out a regular episode in September, and then we took another month off, and then we put out we put out content in October, and now we're back to regular schedule as far as every other week. So you probably saw the Halloween episode for Spooky Fest that came out last week. And then a few days later, the Dude You Haven't Played This Game came out for Halloween. And before I touch on that, go back a few weeks. So I was working on the Metal Gear Snake's Revenge review for quite some time. Working on it for about 2 months. And I was very happy with it and very happy with the response. A lot of people really, really enjoyed it, so I'm happy for that. A lot of great comments, and people liked the skits, and the jokes were on point and everything. So, it really pays to take time and effort. This is not my day job. I still have a regular 40-hour plus week, or 40 hours plus per week day job, along with raising, a kid, having a family, animals, taking care of my pets. Spending time with my wife, spending time with my friends. Well, I don't even spend any time with my friends anymore because of COVID, pretty much. So that's out. So I have more time to work on videos in that sense. But this is not my full-time job. A lot of guys like RGT85 and Game Chasers and all them. This is their job, and so I understand why they get. They want to make sure that they're putting out content as fast as they can, keep putting content out, have a steady stream of content, or have something always in the works, because it's how they pay the bills. I'm not making any money really off of this, that I'm taking home and spending on my bills, or what. It's not what this is for. I have a Patreon, and it's just for recouping funds for what I put into reviews. That's it. That's all it's for. So it's Google doesn't pay me anything as far as the ads go. So a lot of people are kind of shocked when you tell them that, when you're like, oh, wait a minute, you're just doing this for fun? Yeah, I like reviewing games, and I like talking about games and talking to you guys about games and everything. And so that's kind of why I do it. I do it for me, but I also do it for you guys. So I guess that's why it hurts to see somebody who's bigger in the YouTube community kind of come after us little guys, which I do consider myself a little guy, despite what some people think. I never really felt a part of the big YouTube crowd or the big YouTubers. I have, a bunch of I'm very friendly with, but I don't have 60,000, 80,000, 100,000 subs, and I'm not upset or bitter about it or anything like that. It's just, it is what it is. I have more important things in my life to do, and because of that, because my attention is taken away from that, because of that, I don't have the time and effort to put into marketing all day, every day on Twitter, or spending that time working on capturing gameplay footage. I have maybe 2-3 hours a night. And that's the thing. Like, when you do this, it's a tough balance between family and responsibilities and real life, getting in the way. And I just think that's life. That's part of life. So it's really frustrating to hear somebody say that YouTube content creators who are smaller are just taking a bite at the algorithm because they think that if they do that, then it's magically going to fix all their problems, and that maybe it's your content that sucks. And this was SNES Drunk that said this. I like SNES Drunk's videos. I don't really have a problem with SNES Drunk, but I will say that he puts out, I think, multiple videos a week, or maybe one video a week, or 2 videos a week. I can't remember. Feels like every day I see a new SNES Drunk video. And I'm not going to sit here and say, this is what entails making a SNES Drunk video, but I would like to think that my videos are more advanced in terms of what I'm doing with them because of things like the skits, because I have to come up with a concept for skits and write my jokes around that, or try to fit that sort of stuff in. So it's a little bit more creative writing intensive than just writing a straightforward review with your own personal feelings on what you think about the game. So, which is what a SNES Drunk video is basically just his thoughts on a game and his, reactions to, what he experienced in a game. And his videos are typically relatively short, like 5-6 minutes, usually sometimes a little longer, like 10 minutes, but that's not something. Every YouTuber is different. Everybody follows a different path. It's not, what works for him should work for everybody, because it doesn't. And so instead of being a person who can look at the respect he's commanded in the YouTube retro gaming scene, and instead of taking a look at what people are putting out and maybe giving some personal advice or suggestions for what he thinks would work for individuals, and instead he just puts a blanket statement out basically saying all the people who complain about algorithm really need to take a look at their own content because their content sucks, basically, is what he said. Or their content's no good, or their videos aren't good. And that's kind of disheartening, because we are our harshest critics as content creators. We are the people who agonize over putting out videos sometimes, who say, I'm going to put this out, and after we release it, you'll be rewatching it over and over and over again. You'll be like, oh shoot, I screwed that up, or I could have done this right, or I could have done this better, I could have made it tighter, I could have made it shorter. And when you start second and triple and quadruple guessing yourself like that, it can get really stressful and it can give you a lot of anxiety. It can be really frustrating for you. So I tend to look at the content that I'm putting out and making sure that I'm doing the best possible job that I can. And everybody makes mistakes, and I personally feel like I beat myself up quite a bit over the mistakes that I make. And I don't like giving out false information, or I don't like putting out content that is not up to standards and not up to par with my own personal beliefs. Most of the comments that I get are overwhelmingly positive. If I could see if I was getting a slew of negative comments, where 75% of my comments were "you suck, stop doing this," then I would agree with them and say, well, maybe SNES Drunk is right. Maybe I need to go back to the drawing board. Maybe this YouTube thing is not for me. But instead of being kind of that guiding light and saying, hey, I know that there are problems with the algorithm, but the biggest thing that you should focus on is making sure that you're having fun with it, and making sure that YouTube is coming from you, straight from the heart. And that is what I think is missing from the statement that he made, where it was basically just stop crying. It's not just the algorithm. Your content is not good. A lot of you just don't put out good content. Maybe that's true. Maybe my content does suck. But when you've got, for the most part, overwhelmingly positive support behind the stuff that you do, I gotta assume that I'm doing something right. I could be doing a lot of things wrong too, and maybe I'll figure that out when the time comes, or maybe I won't. But I know that I like putting out content that I enjoy, and I gear my own content towards myself. When I was editing this newest Night Slashers review, and I'm sitting there and I'm watching a lot of the jokes play back, I was cracking up. I was laughing myself. And I kind of know, like, if I'm laughing at this, there's going to be somebody else that finds this funny out there. There's got to be, at least one other person. So I figure, like, if I can make at least one person smile from a joke in a review, then that's it. Mission accomplished, because I'm happy with it. So if I'm happy with it, if one of you is happy with it, then that's all I can ask for. So that's about it. That kind of bummed me out when I saw that SNES Drunk tweet fairly recently. So I mentioned it on Twitter, and I didn't really say specifically who. Kind of, sorta did. But and I'm not looking to start any drama. I really am not. I just wanted to voice my opinion and say that it's disappointing to see bigger YouTubers pick on little YouTubers who are so blinded by the fact that they got it. They got it right. They did what they needed to do to nail not only the algorithm, but like just to get the views, to get the subscriptions, to get the content, to get the people who are watching. And I think that's really cool. I think it's awesome that they were successful, and I always cheer people on when they are successful. I'm not bitter about it at all. I think it's great to see people making content about retro gaming and about gaming in general, but it's unfortunate that it's not that the community is still torn between big guys and little guys like me and a lot of my buddies. So that's it. That's the end of my rant. What I'm working on going forward. You'd think that with the Night Slashers review, which didn't really do that well as far as views go, I mean, it was just flooded with stuff during Halloween. Those last few days right before Halloween, there was just so much Halloween content coming out. And then we got hit with the election. So I really think people just need to circle back to the channel, and they'll get around to it. And if they're not, no big deal. I really enjoyed the Night Slashers review. I thought it was a lot of fun to put together. Worked with my buddy Tim on it, and it was great. I had a good time working on it, and I look forward to putting out the next review. Normally around this time of the year, I get kind of depressed and a little bit disappointed in myself and my performance with the Halloween review, because again, there's just so much Halloween content out there. And you know, that's the thing, is you want people to see your content. You don't just work on it just so only you see it, because if that was the case, you would unlist it, or you would keep it private and you would just watch it yourself. You wouldn't share it with anybody. So I want people to watch it, I want people to see it, but it's kind of unfortunate when that doesn't happen. So generally what happens is I get kind of bummed and I kind of retreat into just doing other stuff, spending more time with my wife and just hanging out, watching TV or watching a movie with her, and just chilling, hanging out, spending time with my daughter, like whatever I want to do. I just kind of step away from gaming for a little bit. And then I circle back and I start to go, okay, all right, I'm back in the hot seat. What can I review? What can I look at? What can I, kind of show you guys that maybe you haven't seen before, or, that you can get my perspective on. And what I end up doing is I start working on a review maybe like January or maybe like late December. And I put something out in either mid-January or February, or sometimes even March, depending on how in-depth the project is. And I don't feel that way this time around. I looked at the Night Slashers review, and I was like, you know what? I don't care. I'm just gonna keep working on content. I'm just gonna keep focusing on putting out reviews. And so I am gonna be starting work on a new review probably within the next week or so. And I hope to get it out by Christmas. It's not gonna be necessarily Christmas related, but it is gonna be something that I spend some time researching and thinking about, and it's not gonna be a super crazy, big budget skit oriented thing. It'll probably just be, a review with jokes in it and skits, and nothing too outlandishly crazy like a full claymation review or something. It's not gonna be anything like that. So just set the bar lower. But there is a lot of cool stuff that I have planned for next year that I plan on working on. One thing I did want to mention that is going to come out in the near future is the strategy guide collection. I took all my strategy guides and basically went through them on camera, not like flipping through every page or anything like that, but just kind of giving like an overview of where my strategy guide collection is at. And it's kind of a little bit of a nostalgia trip too, because I'm like looking back on certain elements of strategy guides and be like, oh man, this was so cool, like I miss strategy guides. So look for that fairly soon. I'm gonna be editing it probably in the next week. And what else do I got? I also have a video that I was planning on coming out for Halloween, but it just didn't happen, unfortunately. And that is the Castlevania 5 Facts You Didn't Know. And I'm probably going to change the name of it, because you're going to get somebody in the comments going, oh, I knew about that. And it's going to happen. I already knew that. Oh, you're giving out misinformation because, you're saying that people don't know about this, but I know about it, so therefore nobody else, or everybody else knows about it. So I sat down and I found a bunch of information that most of which I knew about already, but there were one or two things I was like, wow, I didn't know that. So I put together a list. I started working on the voiceover for it, filmed it. It's, I got to change the ending though, because I'm sitting there going happy Halloween, because that was the plan, to get it out on Halloween or before Halloween, and it just didn't happen. So so that's going to be coming in the near future as well, hopefully before Thanksgiving, and then my attention will be turned to the review. Haven't forgotten about Noob Repair. There is 1 or 2 ideas that I had for Noob Repair, and I've got 1 or 2 ideas for Gaming Linguistics kind of circling in my head to come out hopefully in the near future. So new stuff coming on the way. As far as what I've been playing a game on the Switch called Slayin' 2, and it's really fun. It's got a great soundtrack by my buddy Matt Creamer, who does a phenomenal job. He's also known as Nornrad. And go check that out. It's on the Switch eShop. And best way I can put it as far as what it is, it's a 2D side-scrolling with like one screen but two planes back and forth, and you can switch between the planes, and you're basically just killing monsters, kind of like in the vein of Ys, the first Ys game, where you're running around and you're basically running into enemies, and that's essentially what it is. So that is a really fun game with a great soundtrack. Go check that out, Slayin' 2. Other than that, what else have I been playing? Well, I just got a PS3, and I picked up Metal Gear Solid 4. I picked up, what else did I pick up? Ninja Gaiden Sigma. And I picked up Heavenly Sword, which I've always wanted to play. So I'm curious what your thoughts are on what games I should get. There's two games that I really want to pick up as well for the PS3. Sly Cooper Collection, the Sly games, and also 3D Dot Heroes. Yeah, so I want to check that out too. So I'm primarily looking for exclusives for PS3. So what games would you suggest that I collect for the PS3 that are exclusives? Let me know down in the comments below. And a lot of you are going to say Uncharted. I have the full collection on the PS4. So yeah, that's about it. Yeah, I've just been playing a lot of Switch, and I've been just hanging out. I started Resident Evil 2 Remake as well, and that's pretty fun too. I started it right after the premiere of the Night Slashers review. I was like, I gotta play something scary. It's Halloween, and so I opted to start that, and it's pretty good so far. I'm digging it. I'm playing as Claire the first time around, and I'll go back through as Leon afterwards. So that's about it, guys. I'll probably update you again in the next few months. Stay safe out there. Avoid COVID. Wear a mask, and catch you on the flip side.